Hello. Thanks for once again allowing Lily Bear to take you beneath the crust, where I talk about what you're afraid to think about. Why do we lock people up when they see visions or hear voices? This is an excerpt from my book, In Search of Sanity on Religion. Why do we lock people up when they see visions or hear voices? In reading the Bible, there are many instances where people heard voices, talked to bushes, and saw visions. Today, the mental hospital is full of people who hear visions and see voices. Man, really need to lock me up, huh? In Exodus chapter 3, Moses is seen talking to a bush. Not only did the bush talk to Moses, but the bush also sent Moses on a mighty mission. You see that? You see that? Not only did Moses see a bush burning, that alone is disturbing enough, but the bush talked to him. And the bush was burning, but the bush didn't burn down into cinder. And that isn't all. The bush talked to Moses. In fact, the bush and Moses had a full-fledged conversation. The bush said, look here, Moses, come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. I'm in Exodus chapter 3. The bush said that. The bush said that. The bush said, Moses, I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And you know what? Moses didn't say, wow, and run off. He didn't say that. Moses talked back to the bush. Verse 11. And Moses said unto the bush, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? Now see, Moses was concerned that he wasn't worthy of going to bring the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses was also concerned about the Israelites not believing the message that he was going to bring. He thought, well, you know what? They may not think this message is credible. So listen to what he said to the bush. When I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And the bush said, listen. Saith, shall thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, has sent me unto you. Neither the bush nor Moses thought it was strange that they were talking. They didn't think it. The bush nor Moses thought it was strange that they were having a dialogue, a bush and Moses. You know what? And nobody said, you don't see it nowhere, nobody said, Moses, die off matteth. They shall be put into a patteth caveth. Nobody said that. In Numbers 22, starting at verse 21, moving forward, Balaam saw and heard his donkey talking to him. The Bible said he talked to his ass. Now look, talking to an ass in and of itself isn't strange. I've talked to some jackasses in my time, but now this was a jackass whose form of communication was braying. But in this instance, the jackass pretended to be human. Come and think of it, the jackass I was talking to pretended to be human. But never mind, I'm digressing here. Let's go to 2 Kings 6, verse 15. This is another instance where people are seeing and hearing things. Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, at last, my master, how shall we do? So the servant saw these hosts, a host like a bunch of folks, and they were on horses and they were on chariots. And he answered, this is the master answering, fear not. Now this is Elijah talking to his servant. Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Verse 17. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire around Elijah. Open bar. Isn't it interesting that the man was looking at his surroundings, which is what frightened him? But Elijah asked that his eyes be open so that he could see his surroundings. We'll talk more about that later. The bar is closed. Elijah's servant saw a mountain with horses and chariots of fire around Elijah when nobody else saw them, and he became afraid. Now let's go over to Jeremiah 1:11. Jeremiah heard voices and saw a budding rod of almond and a seething pot. Read these scriptures in the New Testament to see how visions and hearing voices did not end with the coming of Christ. Matthew 3:16-17, Luke 9:12, Acts 2, Acts 9, 2 Corinthians 12. John in Revelation saw a rainbow, armored horsemen, bottomless pit, the beast that came out of the bottomless pit, locusts, 7 angels, and Satan bound for 1,000 years. These are just a few of the many visions John saw. Now I can go on and on about audio and visuals in the Bible. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where these people were put on psychosomatic drugs. I've never seen or heard of anybody in these modern day facilities seeing any of the kind of stuff they saw in the Bible. So why do we lock people up in modern time when they see visions or hear voices? Discuss some topics. Why do you think we lock people up when they hear voices and see visions? Is it possible that some of these people, I'm talking about the people today, who are hearing voices and seeing things are hearing from God? If you say no, why do you say that? If you say yes, why do you think people are hearing from God? If you said yes, why don't we realize that they are? Keep on churning till the butter come. Albert C. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn, U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm Louis Bell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I'll leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my story. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and oh yeah, stay tuned. A Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. Lily Bell. Be encouraged.